Jack Christie is a broadcaster, a columnist who loves to adventure in the outdoors. He knows where Pacific giant salamanders hang out, where Mud Bay is, and how to find the Dewdney Mule Trail. He has put out a third edition of his Best Day Trips book. It is my pleasure to welcome Jack Christie to Studio 4 with an updated guide to beautiful BC. Not all of BC, but a lot of BC.
Well, the Lower Mainland for sure. I mean, that's our backyard here, and it just gets better and better all the time.
No kidding. So start here, go there. Day trips, how much fun.
And it's so topical these days. When I first brought out my first Day Trips book, it was a great convergence at that time in the 1980s when people were starting to travel more locally. And now, local is such a big theme, and slowly too, with the spike in the price of gas and people's discretionary income being a little tighter. I think day trips now is more relevant than it's ever been. And
so much fun. And in our own backyard, as you used to say, we can find a Pacific giant salamander. Really?
Who knew? Yes, out in Cultus Lake, which is, of course, that was a park my dad used to go to as a kid and raved about it. And people are still raving. You know, just out by Chilliwack, just south from there, it's a little over an hour from town. So that's a place where you will find the Pacific giant salamander, which is about that long, half of which is tail.
Right.
And I've only ever seen one in my whole
But it's
trip
worth
there.
going, because you could have spot the salamander, take the kids, spot the salamander, make the picnic.
And they are so sweet. Believe me, when you see one, it's this lovely yellow color. It's yeah, it's something that just jumps out at you, not literally from the forest floor, but when you come across color like that, it's that kind of magic experience that you can never. When you go out, you hope it'll happen, but you never know what's going to happen when you go. But something always magical does.
Sure, it's like seeing a green flash when you're sailing. People say they never have. Some people have. I've seen one.
I've seen it.
Have you?
Yeah, in Hawaii.
See?
Yeah.
So when that sun goes down, you see that flash, you can write it in your little book. You have maps in here for sure, because everyone doesn't have a GPS, so it's how to get there. Tell me essentially how this book is laid out.
Well, my partner in creativity, my wife Louise, her wonderful photos, which we're going to see as part of the show today, the book is just rife with these photos. And I think it's things like that, the maps and the photos, when you're flipping through and you want some inspiration, I think that's a big hook to it.
Oh yeah, the Alouette Dyke Trail, the Sandy Cove Harrison Lake, all of that. You know, it's true, we don't have to leave home.
And
we really
one of the
don't.
things, we live in such a volatile area, Fanny, and sooner or later there's going to be a greenway that runs all the way from through the Fraser Valley from Hope right out to UBC, that you'll be able to do either in bite-sized portions going out on day trips, or there's more and more campgrounds along the way now, where if you wanted to do a multi-day expedition and bring everything along with you, it's amazing how things are evolving, because people are more health conscious now. Just as Eve, you know, before us was talking about
you pack your beefless burger and you go to Porto Cove, to that regional park. Why not? It's so beautiful. And they've got those legacy log cabins up there, do they?
They do.
From the Olympics?
So that, because now for multi-generational family outings, older people don't like to sleep on the ground. It's,
you noticed.
And so, thanks to the legacy cabins, you can get 3 generations, you know, who are going out and still having that wonderful outdoor experience. You're right there on the beach at Porto Cove, and there's so many opportunities to do things right around there.
And it's just up the sea to sky.
And which is easier to travel now than ever. That is one of my favorite legacies from the Olympics, is how much smoother the driving is. And it's great to see that the statistics of highway accidents has really, it's down 80% since they improved the road.
I believe that, and we're not drinking as much. Not in those silly old days. Go to Whistler, get a daisy jug or something. You think, what were we thinking?
A wineskin.
I know.
I saw my first wineskin in years.
I'm sure. I don't know why we're still alive, but we are.
Must be doing something right.
But if you want a beachcomber, picnic, or paddle, Porto Cove.
Absolutely. And just look around and see the amount of history that's there from the glaciers. It's a place where a lot of it,
beautiful.
there's interpretive signs. so that it makes the landscape come alive when you're there.
Right, and this time of year when the water's melting and things are happening, and wherever you are up that highway, there'll be like new waterfalls, all sorts of things to see. Golden Ears Provincial Park, that's in Maple Ridge, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Just outside of Maple Ridge on the north side. And this time of the year, as you were saying, with the snow melt that's happening right now and the waterfalls that are cascading off the mountains around the Golden Ears.
Spectacular.
And the color in the water, Fanny, that green, deep emerald color just reminds you why gems and the outdoors are so precious.
Well, that's glacial. It's the silt, right?
It's beautiful.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's a really family-friendly environment there. Again, that beautiful walk up to the lower falls along Gold Creek, which is more, it should be called Emerald Creek, but Gold Creek, that's a place that I would encourage everybody to get out and check out.
Exactly. And you don't have to fly to Yosemite in California, although the water there is running like it's never run before. I saw pictures on the news last night. Ridiculously, incredibly beautiful, but you'd have to hop a flight.
And you got to think about your green footprint.
Well, that too. So let's go to Boundary Bay.
Hey, why not? Let's go watch the full moon rise in
All
Boundary
right.
Bay.
Oh,
2 weeks from now, get out there. And in fact, this is something that we do all summer long. You go out a day or two before the full moon and you watch it come up just behind Mount Baker. It's one of the most startling sights. And once you see it, you'll be hooked and you'll be out there at the beach because there's plenty of room for everybody.
Ridiculously
You can take your picnic dinner out. And the thing I like about Boundary Bay is the water there is so warm. You know, when the tide comes in.
Are you on Centennial Beach? Where are you?
Yes, that's exactly right.
Okay.
Start at Centennial Beach, but then there's a bike trail that runs, well, a multi-use trail that runs all the way around Boundary Bay, up to Mud Bay, into Surrey. And it's one of those new items in 52 Best Day Trips from Vancouver, the Mud Bay Park. It doesn't sound that attractive,
no.
But it's a great spot to go and see wildlife.
So we're in Delta, right? Where are we?
You're moving from Delta over into Surrey because the Boundary Bay part is in Delta, but then as you get around, because there's that triad of bays, Boundary, Mud, and Semiahmoo. So the Mud part, which is where Highway 99 sort of swings around that far end, you see the Trestle Bridge where the Amtrak train goes across.
Yes. Okay, I know where you are. Now, can you camp there?
No.
No.
That's okay. We're talking day trips here.
I know, but there's always a few rules, as you know. I guess you could put a sleeping bag on the beach and nobody would stop you.
I don't
think
so. I've done that.
I know.
Actually,
we like to rebel.
Take some friends out there, and they close the park gates at 9 o'clock, so you got to make sure that you leave your vehicle outside. Okay. Outside the gate, but otherwise, hey.
Oh, that too. Nobody can get home because Dad put the car in the wrong spot. The Sea to Sky Trail. Now, I haven't done this, but I hear tell.
It's a wonderful initiative that has been evolving over the last 20 years, but they've really put some energy into it now. I produced a great video on it that you can see at my website, jackchristie.com or seatheskytrail.com with David Suzuki and a number of advocates for this trail. And it runs right now from Squamish, north of Pemberton.
Okay, well, now we're looking at this now.
Yeah, that's the suspension bridge that goes over right at Calcheek campsite, which is where you can camp just north of Brandywine Falls. And it's one of the best areas. And again, this is a wheelchair accessible trail, and so it means it's great for families who are pushing strollers. It's just,
you can ride a bike. They allow you to ride a bike.
Oh, sure. It's
all of that.
That's right. You know, everybody's got to respect everybody else in terms of share the trail. But it's so beautifully constructed.
Wheelchair accessible is so great. Now, speaking of suspension bridges, the Capilano has that new one now. Have you seen it?
No.
No, it's opening today. It's higher, and it's all glass, and you can go way high. You have to take a deep breath. I think, yeah, it's just being completed.
And
imagine
does it sway?
Building it. No, it's like look. I haven't been there. I saw it again on the news last night, but it's round. It looks like it's round, and so you can walk out and be suspended over the canyon.
Oh, like
I'm
at the
thinking.
Grand Canyon. I've heard about.
Yes. Have you been in the glass floor in the Grand Canyon?
No, I just saw a picture of it recently.
Well, that'll make you want to call your mother. Trust me. We really have to trust. You think, I hope this glass is strong, and because people who have never climbed mountains or had that kind of wilderness experience that I know I've had. Have you had it? You climbed a mountain? Okay. But you
climb every mountain.
You can belay. I've been on belay twice.
Sounds good, doesn't it? Put that in your resume.
Yeah, you say, I've been on belay, but your tendency is to want to go close to the mountain, and you have to lean out, you know, to get up.
Well, one of the things when you mentioned Capilano Suspension Bridge, I like its companion in Lynn Valley, the Lynn Canyon Suspension Bridge, which is not nearly as wide, but it's still as much of a thrill, and it's free. And they've got that great Lynn Canyon Ecology Center for kids. And this is all within 2 minutes step from the car. And it's really beautiful, that Lynn Canyon Bridge. I've been on that. The fishing bars, and not bars, drinking bars, but like fishing bars, if you want to go out on a bar in a river and fish. Yeah. Where? Langley, where? Fort Langley, just outside of Fort Langley. There's Edgewater Bar, there's Half Moon Bar, there's a series of them out in Glen Valley Park, just outside of Fort Langley. And there's Derby Reach also, where people just throw in their line. They got their folding chairs, they got their picnic hamper. How great. And it's so great to get away from the masses, if you know what I mean. What about a farm tour? A Circle Farm Tour or a Canyon Farm Tour? I know you have lots of farm tours in here. Out around Harrison Lake, Harrison Hot Springs. That's one of that Agassiz farm tours out there, because they've got dairies. They've got, especially later in the summer, they've got a great corn festival that happens out there. But that's one of my favorite new initiatives has been these farm tours. I think there's about 5 or 6 of them now. And I reference a couple of these in 52 Best. And they're artisanal cheesemakers. Now we have like beautiful winemakers in Langley and places like that, so you can really make a day of it. If you want to find a daffodil field, that's in here. I saw that. In Bradner? In Bradner? Yeah, because we always think about Skagit Valley down in Washington State for the daffodils. Yeah, or tulips. And that's where Bill Vanderzam's family, his dad was there during the Second War and then brought his family over afterwards. So Bill cut his teeth in the daffodil business out there. Well, you see, who knew? You know everything, Jack. Well, I try my best, Fanny. And if you are into birds or birds of prey, all the spots are in here. And the beautiful pictures and all of that. So from Porto Cove to best bird watching, you think? And one of the things that I like about the new edition is we've added this for the first time. It's an activities index right at the very back. So yes, if you want to do bird watching, you just flip to the activities index, scroll down, there's bird watching, and then there's the listing of all the places in the book where you can go and check it out. Okay, you can even go to Boone Island and just go to the lookout and look out. And say hi to the ducks, because there's right at the bottom of the waterfalls there. The king eiders and some others, perhaps. Thank you. You never know what you're going to see next. It's always magic happening out there. There is magic in nature. Thanks, Fanny. Thank you. Jack Christie, 52 Best Day Trips from Vancouver.